off. Today is day 305 of the year of streaming and learning to code. We are continuing on, not actually with Project 5. We finished the Magic 8 Ball project yesterday. Isn't that right, little kitty? Yes, we did. Oh, look at you. So good. Who wants the scratches? You do. Where are you going? Are you assuming the napping position? Gah, claws, tiny cat. In your tail. Okay, you're good? Good? Assuming the napping position? Yeah, awesome. Well, that was good. Usually she takes 8 minutes in the beginning portion of her stream to try and sabotage everything, and then she leaves us alone, but I think that was under 40 seconds. Good. Alright, so, little cat's dealt with. Actually, let's do a quick rundown, because we can. What do we need? We've got webcam check, mic audio golden, chat on our phone. And continuing on with today's stuff for day 305. So, we finished project number 4, the Magic 8 Ball, yesterday. And instead of diving straight into project number 5, we are going to take a minor change in course, and we are going to focus on this sort of microsite, quick little journey. There are 24 levels, it seems. I'm not, aside from this initial front page, this is to better hone our CSS Flexbox understanding with the flexboxfroggy.com site that was recommended to us. So we are going to peruse this particular activity site and try and get a better understanding. So the last couple projects, we've sort of avoided, aside from the basic CSS stuff, color, font style, font family, things like that, that's all fairly straightforward. The basic aligning left and right, but more, we're looking to get a better understanding and build the sort of structural alignment of things, how they stack. Yesterday we were dealing with the Z index of how things stack and all that sort of stuff. So just a deeper, better understanding on where things will fall. Obviously, HTML controls the structure of our website mostly, but the alignment factor we've really been struggling with the last couple projects. So I think now would be a good point in time. Well, what, there's the 12 or so projects that we have. Yes, I think it was 12 projects that Topher hooked us up with. So yeah, 12 projects. We're a third of the way through. I think now would be a good break point to try and get a better understanding regarding this stuff, so we've got more tools to leverage as we go in to tackle the remaining 2/3 of our adventure. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and close out of this. A minor break amongst the projects as we get to enjoy all that Flexbox Froggy has to offer. So, from the top, welcome to Flexbox Froggy, a game where you help Froggy and his friends, and friends, could be her, could be a she frog, we don't know, not judging. Robot frog, what if it's not a him or her, could be robot frog. Froggy and friends by writing CSS code. Guide this frog to the lily pad on the right by using justify content. Hey, when you hover over stuff, things pop up. Oh, I guess it was just justify content. What about down here? No? Can you guys see that? No BS? Does that little window pop up? Maybe it doesn't. It does for me. When we hover over justify content, align flex items along the main axis, flex start, flex end, center, space between, and space around. Properties, which aligns items horizontally and accepts the following values, which we just highlighted, but more in depth. Flex start, items align to the left side of the container. Flex End aligns items to the right side of the container. Center aligns items in the center of the container. Space between items display with equal spacing between them. And space around displays items with equal spacing around them. Interesting. So I guess space between, space around. Well, I'm sure we'll get to a point where we highlight the difference between those two. Continuing on, for example, justify content, flex, end will move the frog to the right. We've got our pond, display, flex. So we set it up with display flex. And then we enter in the following. At least I hope we enter in the following. So now we do justify content, flex, end. Okay. Justify, colon, flex, end, semicolon. Next. Crap, we already pissed him off. Oh, justify content. Bad Steven. Rookie mistake. I was totally focused on story time. Thinking about Froggy and his misadventures. Flex. So, flex. Hyphen. End. Ta-da! Look at that. Level 1 down. Continuing on. Hey, 2 frogs. Cool. Okay, so use justify content again to help these frogs get to their lily pads. Remember that this CSS property aligns items horizontally and accepts the following values. Flex start, flex end, center, space between, and space around. So once more, justify hyphen content, colon, space, copy, and center. I hope that's cool. Feel like it might be a trend. No, it worked. Center. Awesome. Okay. 2 levels down. Awesome. Help all 3 frogs. Oh, toughy. Wait a second. See, okay. Good. I was going to say, look at the spacing between the frogs versus the spacing between the lily pads. It was like, if we just do center, the other 2 frogs are going to drown. Well, not drown, but they're going to be lilyless. They're going to be padless. We're going to have homeless frogs, and so we need to do one of the space options instead. Help all 3 frogs find their lily pads by using justify content. This time, the lily pads have lots of space around them. We jumped the gun by looking at the photo before reading the story. If you find yourself forgetting the possible values for a property, you can hover over the property name to view them. Try hovering over justify content. Good. Awesome. So, justify content, paste, justify content, and don't mind me, I've got, I think, some cat hair of sorts. Damn you, little kitty. Trapped on her eyelash. So just to highlight why center won't work, center. Ta-da, see that? Wrong. Damn it, wrong. So instead of center, I think we want to do space between. Oh. I mean, they're kind of on there, but not as centered as the yellow one is. So I guess space around factors in not only the space between the frogs equal distance, but space around must also factor in the outside spacing. I thought it was also gonna shove them down. I thought it was gonna like center it in the window for space around, but I guess not. Interesting. So equal space on the sides and between. Okay, cool. Good to know. So that's the difference. Ta-da, B-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Also, is there sound for this? I don't think there is. Center, although I really didn't need to do center. Base. Around. How quickly we forget. Next. Okay, no sound. No sound, just checking. For the frog stuff. So, onwards. Level 4. Now, the lily pads on the edges have drifted to the shore, increasing the space between them. Have they? Oh, right. They were further from the edges, and now they're more spread out. So use justify content this time. The lily pads have equal spacing between them. Justify content space between, right? Ta-da! Be-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Huzzah! Level 5. Now use align items. Interesting. So now use align items to help the frogs get to the bottom of the pond. This CSS property aligns items vertically and accepts the following values. Flex start aligns items at the top of the container. Flex end aligns to the bottom of the container, center, vertically center. Baseline. Items display at the baseline of the container. And stretched. Items are stretched to fit the container. I wonder what baseline. What's the difference between baseline and flex end? Items display at the base. Well, I guess we need to figure out what the hell the baseline is, but we'll get there. I'm sure there will be a wonderful example here within Flexbox Froggy to highlight that exact issue. So, currently, no longer justify content. Align items. Align items. Cool. So we will do that. Now I wish I typed them out instead of highlighting or copy and paste that for the last 2 or 3. So align items, flex end. Ta-da! B-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. And next. Lead the frog to the center of the pond using a combination of justify content and align items. Noted. Well, first things first, what the deuce? Align items is baseline. Yeah, what in fresh hell is this mystery? So, align items, flex, start, which is currently where it's at. There's flex, end, which is at the bottom. Cool. There is center, like so. Baseline. Mystery of the evening. Baseline. Did I spell it wrong? No, baseline. That's it. Align items, baseline. Maybe it's something we have to establish on the HTML side of things. The baseline section of our container. Just a guess. No idea. We can Google it in a bit. Lastly was, what was after baseline? Stretch. Okay, I spelt that very wrong. That's why. No, I was like, that's not a word. Wretch. There we go. We were missing the second T. Okay, so that was me just testing in general, not trying to move the frog to the lily pad just yet. Now we're commencing. I just wanted to see the difference amongst the line items. Now we are shifting our froggy friend over to his new home. Justify. No, wrong. Align. Align items. Center. Haha. Take that, frog. Now, what if it's just a line item? Okay, there we go. And we've confirmed. Has to be plural, align items. I figured it would be. I'm not surprised that it is that specific, but I was just wondering if there was some room for lack of S. Less plural. Onwards. Level 6 conquered. Level 7. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. The frogs need to cross the pond again, this time for some lily pads with plenty of space around them. Using a combination of justify content and align items, do the following. Wow. Alright. As a side note, again, I've got an interesting stream setup with where the webcam is and the eye patch microphone and all that kind of stuff, plus a cat. So, with my webcam, how it's set up, it is perfectly, like, pixel perfect, blocking the red lily pad. I mean, just barely moving. I can see the edge of it on one side and barely moving the other way. But right here, just normal, where I'm at, perfectly hidden. Again, just the slightest shift, and I can see it. Normal, slight shift, and I can see it. It's... so I thought I needed to kill off a frog. I didn't think there was a third home. I clearly saw the green and yellow lily pads at the bottom. 3 frogs, very confused. It's okay. Crisis averted. Just Steven being confused. Nothing we haven't seen in the previous 304 days of this stream, so... just me being a crazy person. Suffering from my odd stream setup. So, continuing on. Justify content. Space around. That's my first hunch. Space around. Followed by align items. In my mind, I want it to be baseline. I kind of want to jump the gun and Google what the hell baseline is regarding Flexbox and align items, but we'll save that. If they don't cover it, I'm sure they will, but in the meantime, I want to know. I want to know. Because things don't change. Baseline. I know it's not baseline, but in my mind, it sounds like it would be towards the bottom. This will be flex end, though. Flex end. Ta-da! Beep-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Each little frog has its own home. It looks like Pac-Man. Okay, focus, Steven. Focus. The frogs need to get in the same order as their lily pads using flex direction. What the CSS property, they are out of order. It goes green, yellow, red for the frogs, and then red, yellow, green. We're going to have to flip the frogs. This CSS property defines the direction items are placed in the container and accepts the following values. Row, items are placed the same as the text direction. Row reverse, items are placed opposite to the text direction. Maybe that. Column, items are placed top to bottom. Column reverse, items are placed bottom to top. Well, since we have a row of frogs and lily pads, not a column of either, I assume we would stick with the rows, and we're trying to reverse them. So, let's go ahead and do... And that's flex direction. We've got 3 things: justify content, align items, and flex direction. Let's do... Now, interesting. I wonder if just flipping them swaps the frogs directly in their spot, or if it will pivot like a door on the frogs and swing them, keeping the red frog in the center, and swing the green one over into place when we reverse. Let's try that. I don't think it would. I figured all 3 frogs would flip, and then we'd have to shift or shimmy them down. So let's find out together. Flex direction. Does it function like a door? Row hyphen reverse. It does function like a door. It just swings shut one way or another. How fascinating. So wait. What if the lily pads were on the left side of the screen, though? Would I do align? Would I do justify flex start to have it to the left? Or since it's reversing them, would I actually do... Is it like the opposite game or opposite day where I would do flex, justify content, flex end? I guess we can find out. Probably, I don't know if I should tinker. Oh god, I hit enter and it just took me to the next one. Damn. Oh, we can go back a level. We can go back a level. 8. Level 8. So, how do I go down? Oh, I just noticed. Look, they've got line 3 highlighted. That's it. There's only space for 1 row of code versus the other ones that required multiple lines of code, CSS. They had multiple lines open. It was a wider box. I was like, why doesn't the enter key work for dropping down a line? Because we aren't supposed to. That's it. That's the whole story. Be happy, simple, and straightforward. That's the way it works. Accept it, Stephen. Deal with it. You hear that, little kitty? You're totally passed out. Hey, no. Just me moving your arm. You're just like melting in my lap and you're just falling all over the place, tiny cat. Okay. So, Lesson 11, from the top. Help the frogs find their column of lily pads using flex direction. This CSS property defines the direction items are placed in the container and accepts the following values: row, blank, blank, blank. Okay, all the same stuff. Cool. So now we are shimmying them. Column, I believe, would be our solution. Flex direction and column. Ta-da! Be-diddy-dee-dee-dee. That's cool that it swings it and it keeps the frogs oriented in the right direction. You know, versus their feet being on the walls. I thought it would have swung like a hinge and their little toes. See that? If it were to swing like a door, their little toes would be against the green edge here. But no. Not the case. They're more clever than that. We're dealing with smart frogs. Ta-da. Aha! This is exactly the nightmare I was talking about beforehand. We're going to need to figure out how to shimmy them, but in the right direction. So, help the frogs get to their own lily pads. Although they seem close, it will take both flex direction and justify content to get them there. Notice that when you set the direction to a reversed row or a column, start and end are also reversed. Called it. Called it. Called it. Ta-da. It's like Stranger Things. Basically, we're in the upside down. That's what this froggy Flexbox is trying to. Flexbox is the upside down. That's the treat. That is the whole secret. I still have 2 more episodes to go in Stranger Things, but now that I've seen how this works, I'm 99% sure that they're going to come to the realization that the upside down is just one giant Flexbox beneath the city of Hawkins. Probably not going to end that way, but programmer can dream. Aspiring programmer. We'll get there. What are we actually doing now? Justify content and Flexbox. Let's do Flexbox first. Flexbox something. Not Flexbox. Flex direction. Direction. Ta-da. Colon. Row hyphen reversed. Beautiful. No. I did something wrong. Bad, Steven. Flex direction. Row reverse. No D. Row reverse. Semicolon. Followed by justify. I think we still have that copied. Justify content. Flex end, wouldn't it be? Wait a tick. Hold on. They said it was reversed. Start and end are also reversed. Look. Watch, if we get rid of this. Ta-da. Oh. I did an underscore. Not a hyphen. Come on. Look at this. Watch. See? Underscore? Wrong. Bad Steven. No food for Steven. Hyphen. There we go. That makes sense. Okay. There. Confirmed. D and same degree. So, just for more visualization. Delete. Flex end. Ta-da. So there's that. Basically, flex start, justified to the left, but changing it to flex end, shimmies it over to the right, and then we're swinging the door back in the other direction. Command Z. And same thing, if we didn't have flex end, it would be over there. And if we threw in start, which is basically not end completed, ta-da, it just sits there. Very cool, very clever. This site is awesome. I'm so glad we did this. This is absolutely what we needed. Alright, so, Flexbox Froggy. Help the frogs find their lily pad using flex direction and justify content. Notice that when the flex direction is a column, justify content changes to vertical and align items as horizontal. Whoa. I feel like this is the exact same thing where they were saying things are reversed. So, notice that when flex direction is a column, the frogs swing down. Justify content, which normally does the horizontal stuff, changes to vertical and align, so everything shifts, and align items would then be operating on the horizontal, which normally control vertical. Okay, cool. All of this points to the fact that the upside down is inside a giant flex box. I mean, that's just... I think it's pretty undeniable at this point. I think Little Kitty agrees. Although it's hard to tell. She's still asleep in our lap, so... Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Something about flex direction. Flex direction. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Flex direct. We are coming up with some interesting spelling variations of all of this stuff. Flex direction. Column. Da-da-da-da. Dum-dum-dum-dum. So justify content shimmies downwards. So I guess we want it to be flex end for moving it to the bottom. I feel like I shouldn't be sitting in a chair. I feel like I need to be like laying on a bed and tilting the monitor in the directions that I need it to orient myself correctly. But this should be fine. So justify content flex end. Okay, it works. Cool. We're good. We're good. Alright. Next. Continuing on. Help the frogs find their lily pads using flex direction. And justify content. Okay, we will do that. We will indeed do that. So, we've got red, yellow, and green. Let's do this. Challenge of the day. Also, as a side note, I do think I'm going to... Well, yeah, good. Okay, so there are the 24 levels total. Although, considering that difficulty will probably increase, maybe we should do a third of the way through? Or 2/3 of the way through? But anyways, I'm planning on just doing shorter streams today and tomorrow. 12 and 12. I figured that would be good. Just kind of concise. The last couple days, we've had like 2.5 hour long streams, and it's just, there's been a lot of tragedy and suffering and confusion. So I think 1 or 2 lighter short streams are needed. So we'll knock out this one, 12. I think we'll wrap it up for today, and then we will continue on with the other 12 tomorrow. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. But with that said, we still need to save the frogs. So let's do that. We want to column reverse flex direction is column hyphen reverse. No? Oh. Why do we keep coming up with the clever spelling? There we go. Wait, hold on. Because I want to see it happen real time, correctly. Column. Ta-da. That swings down. Hyphen. Reverse. D-D-D-D-D-D. And then, from here, the lily pads, yeah, they're far enough apart. They aren't away from the edges, so we don't need a space around, we need space between. Justify... Wait. Yeah, justify content normally is horizontal, but when we change the direction of column, it operates on the vertical. We don't need align items, and I know they told us justify content, but I'm freaking out, double checking. Justify content space between. Space between. Ta-da! D, and also to highlight space around. Once more, just because we can. Slightly askew, slightly off. But space between. D. Next. Ta-da! Beautiful. Alright, well, a glimpse at what's to come tomorrow. We get to help find the frogs, or help the frogs find their lily pads using all 3. Yeah, it's gonna be really ramping up tomorrow. Way cool. Good times. Let's go ahead and close out of the stream for now. Shorter stream, but I think it was needed. After 10 months, it's a good way to kick off month 11, November 1st. Thank you again to anyone and everyone who stopped by to view the stream. Any and all views are greatly appreciated, even if you accidentally stumbled in here. It is definitely appreciated. So we are stopping the stream. Day 305 comes to an end, but the adventure continues tomorrow with day 306 of the year of streaming and learning to code. In the meantime, are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it!